So I started reading Coming by Michelle Obama a few days ago, about last week, and I'm learning so many lessons from it, so many, primarily the matter of timing. I remember when the book came out, and Becoming is her first book, right? There's still The Light We Carry. I remember when the book came out and everybody was all over the place. I mean, she's Michelle Obama, right? And I was feeling this FOMO because I hadn't read it yet. I didn't feel prepared to read it, to be honest. I wasn't in the right frame of mind to read it. And eventually, someone gave me a gift of the book and I still didn't read it. In these past few weeks, I had actually been really searching for something. You know that feeling when you're searching for something but you don't know what that something is? And I was actually reading another book. I was reading Hustle Harder, Hustle Smarter by 50 Cent, but it wasn't feeding the thing that needed to be fed in me. And so I thought about the book, Becoming, and I went and I picked it up. I left the one I was reading halfway. I'll still go back to it because there are so many lessons in that book. But I picked up Becoming and I haven't put it down. I mean, of course, I am raising two kids and I do have clients whose needs need meeting. But every chance I get, I'm reading this book, and it's for a number of reasons. First of all, Michelle had a big life. Like, being able to hear her story, because I met her as the wife of Obama, right? And that was, as far as I was concerned, who she was. So I think that it is a very, very big move for her to come out and tell her own story. That she was a whole person before her husband and even after her husband. I have been following her journey from far, and it's like after the White House, after his time in the sun, she's taking back her narrative, she's telling her own story, she's redirecting her life, and I love it for her. So reading the book, I'm seeing that she really had a career trajectory before the White House. She had things she was aiming for. She was a whole persona. She was doing amazing things that would have inspired me even if she wasn't the First Lady of the United States. I thought to myself, there are many, many people out here that have to redirect their lives, that have to take control of their narratives the way I'm feeling inspired. Now, if you're watching this and you felt called by the title, you probably didn't have somebody who encouraged you as a kid. Maybe people, when you were growing up, didn't push you, didn't show you that you carried something special. Maybe they didn't encourage you, right? It's also possible that people did encourage you and they showed you that you had light and you had something special. However, the more you grew up, the higher you went, the more people you met. Maybe you fell in love with somebody who dimmed your light or made you feel like you didn't have what it took to shine, or something happened to dampen you. It's also possible that you are the person that failed yourself. It's possible that maybe you took the wrong road, maybe you took a few left turns, maybe you failed yourself, you didn't keep your word, maybe you made a few wrong decisions that have now kept you captive. In this video, we're going to talk about how to redirect your life, how there is much more opportunity than you think, how you have much more options than you think, and how you can go about doing that. When I was younger, in my 20s, I had this serious case of victim mentality. I felt like there were so many things that were wrong with my life that weren't my fault. Like, it was the fault of God for taking my dad early. It was the fault of the people that raised me for not teaching me things. It was everybody's fault except myself. And as a result, I was operating in this core mediocrity. I was operating in this barest minimum level, despite the potential I had. The first thing I had to do, first of all, was take responsibility for where I was and where I wanted to get. Nobody was going to come and change it for me. Nobody was going to dramatically change my life. The fairy tales are just that, fairy tales. And I was the one that was going to choose whether or not I wanted to live in mediocrity, whether or not I wanted to be a part of any ongoing conversation I was interested in, whether or not I wanted to be a woman of value, or if I just wanted to be pitied and given sympathy. And you know, the funny thing about victim mentality is that people will still not give you the sympathy that you're hoping you get. So I had to take responsibility for my actions, my life, my decisions, the things I was letting people give me. Because here's the thing, people will give you what you say you want, right? Or what you imply you deserve. So one of the things that I had to learn was to pick myself up and be responsible for myself, which is the first step that I'm going to give to you. If you're listening to this and you're thinking, how do I redirect my life? How do I change my narrative? How do I go from being small to being big or living a big life? The first step is to take responsibility. The first step is to decide that it is on you to build the kind of career, the kind of family, the kind of relationship, the kind of life that you want. It is possible, but it's on you, not your parents, not your spouse, not your friends, you. Now, the next step that you want to take towards redirecting your life is to actually acknowledge what you want. I was raised in Middle Belt, Nigeria, which is pretty conservative, right? And anywhere that's conservative is even more conservative for women. So we're raised to be nice. We're raised to be quiet and calm and polite and modest and humble. While these are supposedly good qualities, these are not the qualities that allow you to take up space. While I'm not saying let's be harsh and loud and brash, I'm saying that you need to be clear on what you want and go after it. Now, acknowledge that you even have ambition in the first place. For a lot of women, we don't want to admit that we have ambition. We don't want to say, I really do want this thing. And if you're unable to admit that you actually do want a big life, that you want impact, that you want financial freedom, how on earth are you going to go after that? How on earth are you going to be able to get it? How will you put the word out there and signal to the universe that I am coming after this thing? Send opportunities my way. Send things my way to align with this thing that I want. You have to admit it first, and you have to accept it, and you have to be willing to say over and over again that this is what I want, this is the space I want to take, this is how I want to help people, this is the value that I want to bring to the world. I know that there's a lot of courage involved, but you are capable of courage. You are more than capable. Now, I have 2 boys, and I'm hoping that one day I do get a daughter, and when I do, I want her to look at me and see that I was courageous, that I tried. I want her to know that she can speak up and ask for exactly what she wants from the world. Of course, she will be willing to back it up with work and back it up with discomfort and back it up with being willing to try new things and not being afraid to be seen failing. I hope that I instill these things in her, and I hope that I wouldn't be saying it, she will be seeing it at work in my life as well. I hope that I teach her to have difficult conversations with herself as well. I hope that I teach her to be truthful and honest with herself as well as with others, and that she will not keep quiet when she's uncomfortable, or she will not keep quiet when she wants something and act like she doesn't, because that's how she's supposed to act. Now, the next thing that you want to do if you are trying to redirect your life is actually go after those things that you say you want. Financial freedom, a big business, a great career, an NGO, huge impact. You want to be seen on screens, or you want to be heard, or you want to be felt. However that is for you, whatever that is for you, go after it. I did vision boards for my kids last week, and it was interesting. It was an interesting exercise. I was going through my laptop, and my vision board is like the screen of my laptop, so they came around and watched me work. That is Vinci and my niece. She's a bit older than him, but she stays with us. And they're like, oh, what's that? And I explained to them what it is, and they're like, they like one of their own as well, so I created one for each of them. Of course, Vinci's was a bit more Disneyland and more he said he wants to own his own business, and he wants to go on adventures, and he wants to travel around the world, which understood, those are kind of things I want as well. And for Jovette, it was the same thing. Like, she also wanted those things, as she's at an age where she understands family. She wants her own family, she wants her own business, she wants a stable income, she wants a good life, right? So I created vision boards for each of them, and they're very, very excited. I found myself thinking about how I didn't have a vision board when I was a child. I didn't know that it was okay to want things that other people around you didn't have. And it felt good, really. I felt like points in motherhood and adulting right now, but it felt really good that I was able to inspire that in them. And I saw the moment that their dreams took on images. I saw the moment that it moved from just a random idea to an actual image. Like they could see themselves in the airplanes, they could see the map that they were going to choose where they were going from. They could see these things. Okay, so let's take it step by step. How do you actually go after the things that you want? First place to begin is clarity. And clarity is a result of education, right? Educate yourself. Immerse yourself in the place that you want to be in. Educate yourself on the terrain of the niche and the industry you want to operate in. Do you want to be a well-known speaker? Yeah, that means that you're spending your time learning about how to speak in public. You're watching other speakers. You are learning how to put together a portfolio. You are sending pitches, or you're trying to make sure that you have clips of yourself speaking. If you want to be in the health industry, you're reading about that. You're immersing yourself in that. If you want to be a photographer, that means that a bulk of your time is spent learning about things in that direction. I have been opportuned to run a lot of businesses in my life, and while I'm just now learning that there's more to a business than interest, one of the things that I pride myself on doing, and I've always done looking back, is making sure that there is somebody who has succeeded in what I'm trying to do that I can learn from. I remember when I was in university and I started a makeup business, right? I made sure that I trained with one of the best House of Tara at the time. This was 2013, right? I put together a proposal, shared it with my mom. I obviously could not afford to take myself there. So I shared it with my mom and my family, and they supported me and they sent me to school. I think I trained for about 2 months. But I didn't stop there. I still took master classes. I remember I took a master class with Fatima Mza at the time, and it wasn't in Jos, it was in Kaduna. And around the same time, I was also selling clothes, so I had to go to Lagos to get clothes. So I remember that day we took a car from Jos to Kaduna, because it was my friend and I. We took a car from Jos to Kaduna, and that same day that morning, I had the masterclass and all. Our night bus at the time to Lagos was that evening. So we were literally rushing from the masterclass to the park so that we could catch the night bus. And and it was thrilling and adventurous, and I loved it. But so that was when I ran a makeup. After makeup, I got married, went to law school, of course, got married, and then in law school I realized I wanted to start a hair business. So I started a hair business, and I remember I came back to Jos and I went to Simi of Sims Beauty and I said, hey, please, can you teach me how to lay hair? Because clearly people want to buy this. And that was the advent of wigs. That was when wigs were starting to become like a real thing. And so I trained with her. When I started YouTube, I didn't start with personal branding. I pivoted a number of times. And if you follow my story closely, I'm very big on pivoting, because everything that I had learned from what I thought were failed businesses back then are things that are helping me right now. When I started YouTube, I had to, do my makeup myself and do my hair myself, and all of these things that journey equipped me. I took a break to go get on a call with my coach, and coming back, there's no lights, but we're going to move on anyways, because that's what we do. Which is why the next thing that you're going to do is execute. Like, if you want to really get the life that you want, the freedom and all of those things that you want, you have to learn to execute. Don't be the person that is buying courses and refusing to take them, or registering for classes and not showing up, or paying for coaching, and then when it's time to really do what your coach says to do, you come up with 1,000 excuses. Don't be that person. One thing that I have learned is that money can only take you so far. Money can get you in the room, but it cannot make you excel or succeed, because you then have to prove effort and expertise, and you want to prove with showing up with your time and with your effort and resources that you want to do this. You want this thing you say you want. Now, finally, if you're going after the life that you want to learn how to communicate your value. So we have discussed education, which is how you increase your value, and we have discussed execution, which is how you actually bring your value to life. But now let's talk about actually communicating your value, because you can be the most interesting, the most efficient, the most knowledgeable person in the world, and if you don't come out and let people know, nobody is going to know. Nobody is going to know that you can solve that problem. Nobody is going to know that you can do that thing. You create financial freedom by actually positioning your value, positioning yourself in the marketplace, letting people know that this big problem, you can solve it, that you have the experience and the expertise to solve this problem. And when you go online and you see so many people creating so many pieces of content, it is them trying to position their value. And if they had let something like fear of how many people were doing it, what people will say, etc., etc., they will never have put themselves out there and created things for you to consume. So if you have big dreams for yourself and your reality is not looking like that right now, or you are in a successful reality but it's still not what you want or how you want to move in the world, then it's time to redirect your life. And if you would like to do that, I'm inviting you to my 6-week group coaching program. It's the first and only group coaching program that I'm holding this year in 2024. And if you would like to redirect your life, create a personal brand that allows you to attract the best business opportunities for your life and your business, then this is the program to be in. The link and all of the details are in the description. If you're new here, don't forget to follow. If you're returning, you're welcome back. We have so many resources for you right in the description. We do have a podcast, She's the Brand Podcast, where you can listen and binge. I'll see you next week. Bye.